Hey guys! You didn't think I was going to leave you without an episode all week long, did you? Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy X, kind of. This is mainly to fill in a few things that I wanted to show off and a few things that you guys wanted me to show off. So, let's start fighting dingoes. Now, a few people had asked about Wakka's Overdrive. I figured I'd show off some of the other characters' overdrives that I didn't really go over too much throughout the course of the game. Shooting Star. Hopefully I can get this one to go right. There we go. This one has a chance of eliminating the enemy from battle. Doesn't work against most bosses. I think it's known as the eject status. So if you're looking up, a bestiary for the enemy, then if it says it's immune to eject, you won't be able to eject it with that kind of maneuver. Alright, put another dingo. Nope, not Orin. Okay, I'll use something that's not attack reels. Elemental reels. Now, the way this works is there's 4 different spheres, and they're just basically the 4 different elements of the game. Now, if you completely mix them up like that, then whatever is most prevalent on there will be the one that hits. And it'll hit one enemy if you don't match all 3. And if you match all 3, it hits all enemies. There's not really a whole lot to it. You can, if you get one of each, I think it starts counting the ones around the side, or it makes it random. Either way, it's not particularly useful in the grand scheme of things. Let's fight something that's not quite so weak. Something that'll last a second hit, maybe. Yeah, you last a few hits, and since it's overdrives, I don't have to worry about missing. Let's do one more. Tornado. This one's somewhat interesting. I think if you do it correctly in the international version, you get a second hit in. But most of it's done without the need for button inputs. And I screwed it up. I was trying to look at my notes and then look at the screen. So yeah, there's a secondary hit there that we can show off as well with that. Now, when it comes to Kimahri's overdrives, for the most part, they're not particularly useful. We've seen a few of them already. Jump, Seed Cannon, Self-Destruct. Sure, I'll show that off. Why not? Something like Fire Breath. It does pretty much what you think. We've seen the enemies use a lot of these maneuvers before, so we don't have to worry too much about, seeing them. Most of them we've already seen is kind of the point I'm trying to get across here. Let's see. We'll fight a dingo this time, sure. Now, status reels doesn't cycle elements, it cycles different statuses. I don't know what a lot of them actually do, but if you line up more than a couple, it'll hit, I think, one enemy, and if it'll flick that status effect. And if you line all 3 up, I think it hits all enemies, just like with the elemental reels. But there's no real time where you want to inflict the status effect that way. It's much more efficient to use his buster abilities or to attack the enemies with items with the use command, because that really is the ideal way of doing things. Alright, let's try this again without screwing it up. Yeah, trying to look at too many things at once. See, they changed some of these overdrives specifically for Orin with his button inputs in the international and HD versions from the original where I used to use them. Barely got that one off. Not used to doing it. So yeah, he throws his jug of booze in there, and you get a second hit for that. Not that it really matters, but it's there. Let's see. Thrust kick we've already seen. We've seen the enemies use that. I've used Stone Breath myself. I'll show off Self-Destruct. Doom I showed on the final boss. Aqua Breath looks very much like Fire Breath, so I don't need to show that off. White Wind, I think the mechanics for that is it's it'll heal everyone 50% of Kimahri's it'll heal everybody to the equivalent of half of Kimahri's current HP, if that makes sense. So right now it'll do about 3,500 to everybody. So we've already seen it. We've seen the Dark Clan use it a bunch of times, so I'm not going to worry about that. I don't think I ever showed off Bad Breath, so we might as well show it off here. And he's immune to all of them. That was full point, wasn't it? And he's gone. But yeah, I figured show off some of them. I do want to show off Nova. Someone actually posted a link to a video that was somewhat interesting in the comments of the final episode there, and that showed a strategy, a solo strategy for Penance involving Kimahri. And I've never tried it myself because I never trained Kimahri this far along into the game to max out his stats, but the concept is sound of using Kimahri as a solo against Penance and relying on, I would suspect, the Warrior Overdrive mode in order to have him attack and be able to use his Overdrive Nova over and over and over again, because it can be particularly effective. Now, Auroch Reels is somewhat different. It's got a higher base power, and it'll also put other things on there. You see those star ones? Those ones are based around how many Aurochs you have. If you don't get anything that lines up particularly, you'll just get kind of like a normal attack. If you are able to get all of those things lined up, then you'll get a special hit which has a higher base power than all of his other overdrives, but it still only hits one time. In order to get more of those more of the reels to show up with those shiny Auroch parts of the reel, you need to have more of your characters from the original Blitzball team for the Besaid Auroch. So if you want it to be high, you're going to have to go to Blitzball and basically reset data in order to get them all to show up. Since I'm not going to save this, I might as well do that anyway. What's that? Good morning. Can't remember. I think that like wakes you up early or something like that. Reset data. Sure. Which means I now have the all of the original Besaid Aurochs on my team, and it'll show up a little easier when I go to do that. So, fight monsters. Let's see, what else can we show off here? I don't think we need to fight anyone other than dingoes now. So, we've shown off Auron. We don't need to show that off again. Here I am pressing left and right, trying to find the defend command. Wonder what that indicates. Let's see. Mighty Guard I showed off. Nova we did see, so we'll show off a self-destruct. There you go. It completely removes them from battle, does a bunch of damage, but I've never found a use for something like that. In any game, really, I think, with a move like that. Now he should start with 1 HP, I believe. Yes! And you'll also notice that even though he has the Victor Overdrive mode, he did not gain anything from, as far as Overdrive, for the previous battle because he wasn't really a participant in there. Auroch Reels. Now you'll notice, oh, I guess I was told wrong. They don't show up as often as I thought. Ah, I almost had it. Oh, well, I'll try again for it off screen, see if I can show it off for you. The only other overdrive I want to show off was Nova for Kimahri, so I'll just cut to that instead of showing me fighting dingoes over and over and over again. Okay, that you don't want to know how many attempts it took to actually get that to work. You really don't. But yeah, hits all enemies, only hits once, has a higher base power. It would be useful to use when you're a much lower level, but that's about it. There really isn't all that much of a reason to want to use that. And finally, we'll show off Nova. That was part of the strategy involved in a solo Kimahri effort against Penance there. So I believe the concept is that if you max out his stats and then use the Warrior Overdrive mode, when the two hands are up, you're able to use Nova to hit everybody for 99,999, and with the Warrior Overdrive mode, you'll get enough of an overdrive to be able to use it again on your next turn, and so he just basically spammed it over and over again. This was using the international version of the game, not the HD version. Not the HD version, so I'm not sure if that still works or if there was any hacks involved in any of that, but it seems like an interesting concept if somebody wants to take Kimahri that far. I don't, but anyway, there was one other thing that someone had asked about that I thought was interesting enough to show off. So, yeah, let's fight these guys again. But this time, let's cheese our way right through. And I have mentioned, and if I haven't mentioned, I'm going to mention now, that Zanmato is usable against pretty much, if not every single enemy in the entire game. Now, I mentioned about using this as a nice method. You know what? He can have all my money, because he's not going to survive anyway. And then he'll perform Zanmato. It works on everyone, including all the Dark Aeons, as well as Penance. And someone had asked to see this. This is an effective way if you're trying to farm things. I don't think you get any experience out of the fight, or you don't get the overkill value. So I only got 3 Dark Matters instead of 6, but if you can farm useful equipment out of it, then it might actually be worthwhile doing. I'm not going to show it against all the Dark Aeons, but there is one more enemy that really needs to get his ass Zanmato'd. And that's this guy. Yeah, you can even use it on Penance. And I decided I might as well grab a little extra money in the meantime, just so that things don't go wrong here. So I have a second chance. I knew that in the previous fight, if Yojimbo didn't one-shot them, he was dead. So here I don't think he gets one-shot, but maybe he does. Anyway, so I'll give him only half the money I have. Somewhere around there. Are you going to do the dirty work for me, Yojimbo? There we go. You don't have to feed him that much money. I'm just trying to increase my chances because I don't want to have to re-record or anything like that. Now, it's entirely possible that it's going to kill only the first form. No, it's going to kill the whole thing. Okay. Sometimes with multiple form bosses, it'll move you along to the next form of the boss. In this case, it doesn't seem to be the case. Cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all anyone asked me to show off, or, anything like that when it came to the game, or things that I wanted to show off. There's no real reason of using that against Penance unless you're just too lazy to fight him. I guess that's a good enough reason, but yeah, that is pretty much all I wanted to show off in Let's Play Final Fantasy X. I probably won't even title this as part of this series. I just wanted to give you guys something for this week off that I had. I'm going to go back to working on the next Let's Play and test running the one following that. Anyway, hope you guys are having a good week. I'm going to keep snowboarding and keep working on games. See you next time.